with the explanation of sustainability. Starts with the first definition you can find in the books. And this definition is used from that lady over here. There was the Norwegian Prime Minister Gro Brundtland, and she was the head of a commission in the early 80s. There was a commission on the future of the world. There was a commission of looking for the connection between poverty and development. We call that the Brundtland Commission. And they defined sustainability in that way. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. This is, for most of the people, enough to understand sustainability. This was to deal with resources nowadays in a manner that all following generations have enough resources to fulfill their needs. That's what is meant here to say this is a fair allocation of the world's resources. These are just two constraints to say contains within two key concepts. The concept of needs, in particular the essential needs of the world's poor, to which overriding priority should be given. That's because it was a commission on poverty and development. And the idea of limitations, in this case the scarcity of resources, imposed by the states of technology and social organizations on the environment's ability to meet present and future needs. So leave the coming generations the world they can use in the world that is able to produce all the resources they need to fulfill their needs. It is very hard to get this understanding of sustainability closer to the companies, closer to the decision-making processes of companies. It's a very far away challenge for the daily work of companies. So what is happening with that? It is transferred in kind of an ethical understanding, ethical approach, proposition to say company must properly work, deal with their side effects. And this is happening that way. It is happening that way. I think it's very normally what is happening is you have these societal propositions on, this is supposed to be the company, and this is supposed to be the core processes of the company in here, economic rationality and efficiency. And the companies facing these challenges, these ethical propositions, they are building kind of a rhetorical wall referring to corporate social responsibility. That's what you've seen in these web pages in here. I think this is very, we all would do this, facing ethical proposition. We try to show that we are very responsible. That's what the companies do. They show we are very responsible, and these but this kind of social responsibility is a semantic wall. This is supposed to be this semantic wall to protect core processes from ethical demands from outside. So this is the way, the first step to answer this challenge without changing any process in the company. I think this is a very common way to face these ethical propositions. Okay. The two next understandings of sustainability, what I call the innovation perspective and the rational perspective. There's a question, these are two economic perspectives, but how to bridge these two perspectives, to bring them together. Sometimes it looks that we are beginning to build a bridge on two sides, but in the middle. They won't meet. Here. If you talk about innovation, there, and you talk about maintaining the resource base, will they meet? I think they won't meet in the middle. Why? Let's have a closer look on these two perspectives. First one, the innovation perspective. It's a motive for modernization. Motive for modernization is a subsumption of the notion of sustainability under the economic rationality. So-called the business case for sustainability. The business case is that here. Business case means behave in a more sustainable way, and you will enhance resource productivity and thus lowering costs. You will stimulate innovations that help gaining competitive advantages, and you will improve reputation and thus remain attractive for customers. This is traditional management theory. This is traditional marketing. This is traditional economic rationality. That's what you can explain that to companies without using the term sustainability, because that's what they're doing all the time. Lowering the costs, look for competitive advantages, and try to increase the reputation. So what's new in there? Is there anything new? Does it really work that way? If you look outside into the world, I think you won't find enough proof of that idea. That there's a business case for sustainability. If there were a business case for sustainability, most of the German companies, European companies, would be more sustainable. Because of that advantages. But there's a problem. There's a big problem. There's a big problem for most of the companies. And this is the contradictions between social, ecological, and economic requirements. If you really fulfill ecological requirements, that means if you try to increase or decrease the side effects in nature, it costs you a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of awareness. So, being more ecological costs money, and it does not lower costs, but increase costs. And if you are more and more social, that means if you refer more to the, let's say, to the people in your company, it costs more money. So, for short-term decision making, social and ecological requirements cost a lot of money and it decreases the profit. And most of the companies know that very well. And this is why they don't move in a sustainable or move on a sustainable journey. And this is why they talk a lot about sustainability, talk a lot about responsibility. That's a quite natural way to face a very, very complicated requirement. Let's have a closer look to the difference. This is a pool of resources. You know, there's coal in there. This is the amount of resources. Imagine this is the amount of resources we have. It could be as well the amount, so the pool of your money here, for example. And that's all you have. And this is all you have to do your business. So it is very rational to use the coal very, very efficiently. Very, very efficiently means to produce the output with less and less input to maximize this ratio in here. I think that's what most of the managers, let's say the German managers, European managers, are very, very well in to increase efficiency, but only in that way to decrease the input for a given output. So, what does it mean for that amount of resources? If you do that, you can use it a little bit longer because you get more output of each unit of input, but the day will come that the amount, the pool of resources is gone, is used. There's nothing replenished, there's nothing reproduced, there's no supply of new resources. And this is the problem of the rationality of efficiency. It just tells you to use resources very, very efficiently, economically, but you won't get new resources. Dealing only with that sustainability. So, with that rationality. Of course, you will say coal is a not renewable resource, and there's the only way to deal with this resource is to use it very, very efficiently. I totally agree, that's right. But a sustainable economy in about 20, 30, 40 years can only use renewable energy, renewable resources. When oil and coal, okay, there's a lot of coal left, but gas and oil is gone, is used, is deported. Then we only have our renewable energy, we have our renewable resources, and how to deal with these renewable resources. This is the rationality of sustainability. The ratio of resource consumption and resource supply should be balanced. Don't spend more money than you get every month. The same rationality in here. It's kind of housekeeping. We know that very, very well. And this is a very rational way of dealing with scarce resources. Okay? So we need this second rationality, efficiency. Really keep in mind, efficiency is a very, very important rationality to deal with resources. But it won't give you back 1 unit of the resource you need. So you need the other rationality, and that means you have to housekeep, kind of householding with the resources to maintain the resource base. And this is sustainability as an enhancement of economic rationality. The third perspective, dealing with the absolute scarcity of resources. Where does it come from? Is it new? Well, actually, it's not new. And we know that very well in our daily economic decision making. So sustainability can also be perceived as a basic principle of a household economy. Householding, and act in a way that it's appropriate to conserve your livelihood. Now remember once again the message of Pepsi. Just another wording for that rationality. Is what good is for the world is good for our business. In here, act in a way that it's appropriate to conserve your livelihood. That means that to conserve your resource base you are depending on. Such a notion of sustainability has different historical roots. It's always very interesting, typical start of management theory, just to look back, to find the roots of these notions. And you can go back to Aristotle, for example, Asian philosophy, with production of the household. That was called an oikos. Oikos, this is the root of ecology. That's the only ethically desirable good of economic activities. Don't take more of the resources than you need for your daily needs. And then that was forgotten for about hundreds of years. And then something very important happened. I think it was in Germany. Yeah, this is a German first economist. I imagine he looked out of the window and he saw the woods, forests, vanishing because the people started to use more and more wood for construction, for mining and for energy, for heating. And they said, okay, if people go on using so much wood, in a couple of years, all the forests are gone. And what will happen then? So he wrote down for the first time to say wood consumption must not exceed the level of reproduction. This is the nature, this is the essence of sustainability. And this is a very rational economical behavior. To use not more resources than are reproduced in the same time. There was 300, 400, and 300 years ago, and nobody really learned from that because shortly after he wrote down this message, the coal was found. They found new energy, a new source of energy, and reproduced the woods. The corresponding notion of household economies has to be clearly distinguished from profit-oriented economy. This is my message for tomorrow. That's where we're going to work with. This message where you will understand this difference between profit-oriented economics, which is very important, which has to remain, but which has to be complemented by a household economy. So, second stop. Second stop on our journey. What was my message? What I wanted to tell you is sustainability is not equal to efficiency. These are different guidelines for economic behavior. Striving for resource efficiency is rational, that's important, as well as maintaining the resource base the companies are depending on. And avoiding side effects is based, most of the time, is based on moral stakes. Think about the human rights, for example, moral stakes. So, these are the two results. These are the two notions where we talk about sustainability in Europe. We are facing scarcity of resources, and in the modern world, we are facing a lot of unintended side effects of business processes. And society tries to deal with that, get a more modern society, say a more and more human society, not in global, but also national society, that is able to solve these two problems. Side effects of the business process and the scarcity of resources. Do you have any questions so far? It's a lot of input, I know. This is, okay. Let's go back into practice. There was a theoretical part of my talk. Now we go back into practice. See how companies deal with these understandings of sustainability. And we start with the first ideas of sustainability as rationality, maintaining resources. Once again, a screenshot. This time it's a Unilever. They're a well-known group in Russia, Unilever as well. Yeah? Okay. For us in Bremen, they are very important because they are one of the fishing industry. Unilever. I want you to read very critically all these messages, all these ideas. No, stop. Sorry. Companies are writing about sustainability. So once again, here's our approach to sustainability. As you can read here, it's not too small. We are making sustainable living a driver of everything we do. This is a huge approach, huge state to say sustainability is our main criteria for all our decision making. So what are they really doing? They created kind of sustainable living plan in here. The Unilever Sustainable Living Plan is the blueprint for growing our businesses, for growing our business sustainability. See, this sounds good, and they have a very, very clear reason to do that. I will show you that. This is part of the text. I just highlighted it a little bit so you can easier read it. Come on, a little bit faster, please. No. Okay. Our brand imprint process. There already, in the 1990s, we started to integrate, so already 20 years ago, integrate sustainability factors in our sourcing and manufacturing processes. Then in 2005, we began to embed this agenda into our product brands using a process called brand imprint of sustainability. So, this provides our brand teams with a 360 scan of the social, economic, and environmental impact that their brand has in the world. So this is dealing with the side effects of the brands. What are doing the brands with the people? What are doing the brands with the environment? Yeah. That's the understanding of avoiding side effects. Since 2005, brand imprints have been completed across all our product categories and social and environmental considerations are now integrated into the innovation and development plans of our major brands. So once again, they're convinced that the integrated sustainability categories in all their innovation and development processes. This is another quotation of one of the business directors of Unilever, and this is very important. Remember, the one before was dealing with the side effect. And they are doing all at the same time, because now, I think it's a couple of years ago, I think I found that in 2005 or 2006, we rely on our ability to take high quality raw materials, be they fish, peas, or palm oil, and turn them into high quality added value products that we can make, market, and sell. Traditional business, that's what they're doing all the time. Now comes the constraints, and this is very important, because they noticed that if our supply of raw materials run out, no fish, no peas, not enough palm oil, we cannot produce anymore and cannot sell anything to anyone. That's the scarcity of resources they're talking about. No matter how good our branding. They can have excellent branding, but if they have no fish, they have no products to sell. So sustainability is all about the long-term security of our supply chain. This is the purpose of sustainability. They're writing down. It is the long-term security of our supply chain. To assure the access to the raw materials they need. What is different to the years before? That they noticed that they have to care for that. They have to spend money and time to assure the long-term security of the supply chain. If our business is to continue, then we need to sustain our sources of supply. And the only way to do that is to make them sustainable. Then, one of the next steps was here, fish, to deal with the scarcity of fish, and they created kind of a regulation system called the Marine Stewardship Council. Because the scarcity of fish is a big topic in Germany. And they try to find a regulation with all other companies how they can keep the stock of fish in the oceans. So this was one of the insights the company has, but there was not a voluntary insight. There was just an insight of looking at the scarcity of their renewable resources. I have no idea why they run out of peas. What was the problem there? You know, these little green vegetable peas. But fish is very well known, and palm oil is the problem of the tropical forest in Malaysia, for example. Next company, Kraft Food. Kraft Food is in Bremen. I work together with Kraft Foods. They have very interesting people in their sustainability department. There, Kraft Foods, that's an international food company. So what they're telling us is, once again, right here as well, sustainability is protecting our resources. They are very close to that rational understanding of sustainability due to the scarcity of their natural resources. Sustainability is about preserving our world, land, air, water, and people. At Kraft Foods, our sustainability journey, once again, they are on a journey to sustainability, has put us on a path that is making a real difference. To a path that makes a real difference. And what's the difference? We cannot do everything, so we're focusing on those areas where we can have the greatest impact, here and here, and that means the most to our business performance. This is, once again, very important because they make a distinction. What is important for us? What is important for our resource supply, and not what is important for the world. Thousands of Kraft Food employees around the world help us deliver on our commitments in 7 focus areas. Agricultural commodities, at the same level, dealing with the resources, peas, whatever, cacao, coffee, they are very good in the coffee market, packaging, energy, waste, water, and carbon dioxide reduction and transportation. One of the biggest problems they have right now is the child work in the cacao production. Yeah. Because as the global leader, we use a lot of cacao, and production conditions in Africa on the cacao plants are very, very inhuman because there are a lot of child work there. The child are working to get more money for the families. This seems to be important. And you cannot just throw them out of the harvesting the cacao.